Trump's reported war plans may have hit an unexpected wall, but has Iran exposed America's biggest military weakness? Has Mojtaba Khamenei scored a major strategic victory as reports claim tensions emerged between Donald Trump and his defense chief over the Iran conflict? Trump is reportedly demanding answers after fresh claims suggested the U.S. military is running low on several key war munitions. Did a high-stakes meeting at Camp David expose a deeper crisis inside America's war machine and military preparedness? Reports suggest the United States is facing shortages of THAAD interceptors and long-range missiles crucial for any prolonged conflict with Iran. Has Iran's sustained retaliation begun to limit Donald Trump's military options against Tehran despite Washington's overwhelming firepower? Have Mojtaba Khamenei's missile strikes exposed vulnerabilities in America's military planning? Or is Iran simply gaining a temporary strategic advantage? The White House is pushing back hard, dismissing reports of a Trump-Hegseth clash as fake news, and rejecting claims of internal divisions. U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly confronted Defense to War Pete Hegseth over growing concerns about America's military readiness during high-level national security discussions. According to the Washington Post, Trump reportedly clashed with Pete Hegseth after being briefed on shrinking U.S. munitions stockpiles following months of military operations. The reported confrontation took place during a high-level meeting at Camp David on July 31st, where senior officials were discussing strategy for the Iran conflict. Trump was reportedly left frustrated after learning that key U.S. missile inventories were significantly lower than he had previously been led to believe. Sources claimed Trump had earlier been assured that the munitions issue had been resolved, but he reportedly believed he had been given a misleading assessment. The report said Trump demanded to know why he had received what he viewed as an inaccurate picture of America's military readiness and available weapons. The United States is reportedly facing shortages of several long-range guided missiles, as well as critical air defense interceptor systems needed for future operations. THAAD interceptor missiles, which play a vital role in defending U.S. bases against ballistic missile threats, are reportedly in critically short supply after recent operations. The reported shortages have become an increasingly important constraint on U.S. military planning as Iran continues to demonstrate its retaliatory missile capabilities. Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt strongly rejected the report, dismissing the claims as fake news and denying any clash between Trump and Defense to War Pete Hegseth. Caroline Leavitt said, and I quote, "I was at Camp David with President Trump and Secretary Hegseth. This literally never happened, and we told the Washington Post that repeatedly." This BS story was shopped to many outlets by someone clearly out to disparage the secretary, for whatever reason. Unfortunately for them, the president loves the secretary and thinks he's doing a tremendous job. Fake news. Unquote. The U.S. military used nearly 80% of its THAAD interceptor stockpile during the Iran conflict, according to a CNN report. Reports also say the United States has expended roughly half of its Patriot missile inventory since the conflict with Iran began. Senior U.S. military commanders are reportedly warning that stockpiles of several key precision munitions have reached dangerously low levels. The THAAD air defense system plays a critical role in intercepting ballistic missiles at high altitudes and protecting strategic military assets. Patriot air defense systems have also been used extensively to intercept Iranian ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and drone attacks throughout the conflict. CNN reported that the U.S. Army has consumed virtually all of its available long-range precision strike missiles during recent operations. Army Tactical Missile Systems, or ATACMS, were among the precision weapons reportedly depleted after months of sustained combat operations. The report also said the Army's newer precision strike missiles, or PRSMs, were heavily consumed during recent military operations. U.S. stockpiles of Tomahawk cruise missiles have also reportedly declined significantly following months of intensive military operations. The Center for Strategic and International Studies estimated the United States possessed approximately 452 THAAD interceptors before the conflict began. CIS also estimated that the United States had roughly 2,200 modern Patriot interceptor missiles before the outbreak of the war. The shrinking missile inventories have raised concerns about America's readiness for potential high-intensity conflict in the Indo-Pacific region. Several Gulf allies have reportedly warned that lower U.S. missile stockpiles could weaken regional defenses against future missile and drone threats. A number of America's regional partners rely heavily on THAAD and Patriot air defense systems to protect critical energy infrastructure. CNN reported that concerns over munitions shortages were discussed before President Trump decided to halt planned military strikes against Iran. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reportedly received the initial authorization before the planned operation was later placed on hold. On August 4th, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth publicly rejected CNN's report and denied claims that the U.S. military is facing a critical weapons shortage. A new report claimed the U.S. has used virtually all of its long-range precision missiles during the war with Iran, raising fresh concerns over America's military stockpiles. The depleted inventory reportedly includes Army Tactical Missile Systems, or ATACMS, along with newer precision strike missiles, according to the Times of Israel. Sources told a report that the prolonged 5-month conflict had sharply reduced U.S. inventories of key long-range precision-guided weapons. The report said the declining missile stockpile has raised concerns about America's readiness to respond to any future large-scale military conflict. Analysts warned that shrinking inventories could weaken U.S. deterrence against major adversaries such as Russia and China if another crisis emerged. One source said U.S. Central Command had replenished part of its inventory by transferring munitions from other regional commands during the conflict. However, the sources declined to reveal how many ATACMS or precision strike missiles the United States still has available in its remaining arsenal. The U.S. is now seeking billions of dollars to rebuild missile stocks after months of intense operations in the Iran war, reflecting how quickly modern conflicts drain high-end munitions. On July 31st, Bloomberg revealed that the Pentagon has submitted a new $67 billion emergency request, a package explicitly tied to the ongoing Iran conflict and its costs. Within that broader request, $18.2 billion has been earmarked to replace key missiles used during recent operations, focusing on the most advanced interceptors and cruise weapons. The funding plan has been formally submitted to U.S. Senate and House Defense Committees, signaling that Congress is now being asked to sign off on this rapid rearmament push. Bloomberg's report comes after months of U.S. strikes on Iranian targets and repeated defensive interceptions against incoming missiles and drones across the region. The Pentagon's shopping list includes about $5.75 billion dedicated just to THAAD interceptors, reflecting how heavily the high-altitude shield was relied on during the war. Another $5.57 billion are set aside for Patriot PAC-3 MSE missiles, the Army's frontline air defense rounds that have been fired repeatedly to stop Iranian attacks. Around $1.9 billion would go to Standard Missile-6 interceptors, a versatile Navy weapon used for both air and missile defense in contested waters. Some $1.3 billion is earmarked for new Tomahawk cruise missiles, replenishing the long-range strike inventory that has been used for precision hits on Iranian targets. A further $1 billion would fund SM-3 Block IIA interceptors, crucial for exo-atmospheric missile defense and increasingly central to U.S.-led protection. About $992 million is allocated to AMRAAM air-to-air missiles, ensuring U.S. fighter jets can continue to engage hostile aircraft and drones without worrying about shortages. The list also includes roughly $692 million for precision strike missiles, expanding the Army's ability to hit key ground targets at long range with conventional warheads. U.S. officials say this emergency request reflects growing concerns over America's missile stockpiles, which have been visibly strained by sustained high-tempo operations. American forces fired 13,629 munitions during the recent Iran conflict, according to Bloomberg, a figure that highlights just how intense and prolonged the campaign has become. Pete Hegseth notes that the request also includes around $21 billion to speed up missile procurement, aiming to push industry to deliver faster and in greater volume.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.